Deadlock, race condition, division by zero, infinite loops, infinite recursion. Some of you are already familiar with it. The rest of you are just about to encounter it. Just for you, we will tell you about some famous mistakes made by programmers in history and how they affected business and people's lives. 1. Ariane 5 rocket failure, 1996. The Ariane 5 explosion was one of the most expensive programming mistakes in history. This famous rocket was used to launch a satellite, and it cost about $8 billion to develop. The rocket exploded 40 seconds after liftoff. The cause of the failure was an integer overflow, which is a very common error in computer programming. When declaring a variable, it is very important to pay attention to the amount of memory it requires, and this was the mistake in the design of this rocket. The coding was done in the Ada language. Upon investigation, the team discovered that a line of code was trying to fit a 64-bit number into a 16-bit space. As a result of this failure, the company lost $370 million. 2. Y2K error, 1999. In the 1960s, computer engineers took the approach of writing programs using two-digit code for the year, leaving 19 out. Most of them felt that writing 19 in front of the variable year was an unnecessary waste of memory. For example, they used only the two final digits, 70, to represent 1970. Until December 31st, 1999, everything was fine. But after that, as soon as January 1st, 2000 arrived, many computers started reading the year as 1900 because of the two digits representing 00. This error was called the Y2K or Millennium Error. The letter K, which stands for kilogram, is used to represent the number 1000. Thus, Y2K stands for the year 2000. This affected banks that calculate interest rates daily, technology centers such as power plants, transportation, and more. Billions of dollars were spent to upgrade computer systems around the world. Then, in 1997, the British Standards Institute developed a standard defining 4 rules for year 2000 compliance requirements. No valid date will cause interruptions in service. During and after the year 2000, date-based functionality must behave consistently for dates before the year 2000. In all interfaces and all repositories, the century must be unambiguous, either given or computed by an algorithm. The year 2000 should be recognized as a leap year. 3. Gangnam Style hacked YouTube. When YouTube was first created, no one thought that a song could rack up billions of views and exceed the maximum size of a 32-bit signed integer. The maximum value of a 32-bit signed integer is 2,147,483,647. And when the song Gangnam Style came out, the number of views of this hit song exceeded the maximum value, and we got the following result. Google later changed the view count to a 64-bit signed integer to fix the error. 4. Mariner 1 software error, 1962. The Mariner 1 spacecraft is considered one of the most costly failures in history. The spacecraft was intended to fly past Venus, but before the satellite could take off, the onboard guidance antenna failed and it deviated from its intended flight path. The cause of the failure was a missing overbar. Because of the missing hyphen in the code, the spacecraft received an incorrect guidance signal. The cost of this rocket in 1962 was more than $18 million. Science fiction author Arthur C. Clarke called Mariner 1 wrecked because of the most expensive hyphen in history. 5. NASA's Mars Climate Orbiter, 1988. Due to different units of measurement, the Mars Climate Orbiter was destroyed after a 286-day journey from Earth. The $125 million project was intended to study the Martian surface and climate. Communication broke down and the orbiter entered the atmosphere of Mars at the wrong angle rather than entering the planet's orbit. The reason was that the software controlling the orbiter's engines used imperial units of measurement, pounds of force, rather than metric units, newtons, and they conflicted. 6. Pentium FDIV bug, 1996. Many computers run on Intel technology, and Intel has always been known for its good processor. But in 1993, math professor Thomas Knisley discovered a bug in the Pentium x86 processor. This math error involved dividing floating point numbers within a certain range. For example, dividing 4195835.0 over 3145727.0 yielded 1.33374 instead of 1.33382, an error of 0.006%. Not all processors were defective, but about 5 million defective chips were found, and Intel agreed to replace them only if customers could prove that they were affected by the defective chip. The company later replaced the chips for everyone who complained, and the cost of the issue amounted to $475 million for Intel. This Pentium FDIV processor bug incident can be seen as a story of how a small error in hardware can have huge consequences for an entire industry. It was a kind of wake-up call for computer hardware manufacturers, showing that no matter how large and prestigious a company is, it is not immune to potential flaws. 7. PayPal error 2007. The world's largest online payment processor, PayPal, also encountered a programming error. PayPal accidentally made Pennsylvanian Chris Reynolds the richest man in the world with a fortune of $92 quadrillion. PayPal mistakenly credited that amount to his account, and he became 1,000 times richer than the combined GDP of the entire planet. The exact amount, a significant amount in a world of 64-bit numbers, suggests a programming error. The error was quickly recognized, and by the time he logged in, his account was zeroed out. Reynolds said he has been a PayPal customer for about 10 years and uses it to buy and sell items on eBay. He also stated that he typically spends no more than $100 a month through PayPal. To make amends, the company reportedly offered to donate an undisclosed amount of money to a charity of Reynolds' choice. 8. Windows Calculator error. Windows Calculator also contains an error in itself. This error exists in almost every version of Windows, including Windows XP, Vista, 7, and Windows 8. You can check it on your system. Open Windows Calculator, type 4, extract the square root, get 2, then subtract 2 from it. Instead of the result 0, you will see a different result. You may see different results on different versions of Windows. The answer is wrong, even for square root 9 minus 3. The answer should be 0, but you will see some strange numbers. Finally, Microsoft has recognized this bug in the Calculator app and fixed it in the new versions of Windows 10. 9. AT&T 1990. AT&T decided to upgrade to more sophisticated software than its existing software and hoped to improve the quality of long-distance calls. But it didn't work, and the network went down. For 9 hours, AT&T customers were unable to make a long-distance call. The failure caused 75 million phone calls to be missed and 200,000 airline reservations to be lost. The problem was a race condition in the switching station code that handles switching station failures. The race condition was caused by a switch statement within a loop. Because of this bug in the code, AT&T lost $60 million. In conclusion, studying known bugs emphasizes the importance of testing and continuous improvement in the development process. Bugs are an inevitable part of life in the world of computer technologies, and we can learn from them to make our code more reliable and secure. Stories like this remind us that bugs happen even to the most experienced developers and in the biggest companies. Instead of being afraid of mistakes, let's see them as an opportunity for improvement and innovation.